Welcome to another episode of Kurdistan This Week, where we bring you the latest in the Kurdistan region from NRT Studios in Somani. Erbil and Baghdad reached an agreement on Monday to resolve their ongoing disagreement over oil. Federal Oil Minister Tamer Gadban told reporters that the KRG had agreed to export 250,000 barrels of oil per day under the auspices of federal institutions starting next year, in a belated implementation of the terms of the 2019 federal budget law. In return, Erbil will receive 12.67% of the federal budget. Oil is just one of several persistent disagreements between the two governments, which also include security and the disputed areas. The agreement is an indication that Erbil may be taking seriously the prospect that it would have faced a reduced share of the budget if it had not offered concessions over oil. The KRG launched its participation in the 16 Days of Activism against gender-based violence on Monday at a ceremony in Erbil attended by Speaker of the Kurdistan Parliament Rayas Fayak and Deputy KRG Prime Minister Kubad Talabani. The 16 Days is an annual campaign that takes place around the world and runs until December 10th. To mark the day, the KRG's General Directorate of Combating Violence Against Women released data about gender-based violence in the Kurdistan region through the end of September. At least 30 women were murdered, and 46 committed suicide in the region during the first 9 months of the year. 125 women were burned, and 81 others burned themselves, the directorate said. There were at least 93 cases of sexual abuse. Like in the rest of the world, most domestic abuse and gender-based violence goes unreported to the authorities, so the extent of the issue is likely much greater than the data suggests. KRG Prime Minister Masrour Barzani arrived in Ankara on Thursday for talks with senior Turkish officials. Barzani met with both Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan as well as Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu. They discussed the situation in Syria, where the Turkish military and its Syrian rebel allies launched an offensive last month against Kurdish forces there. International human rights watchdogs and the U.S. government analyses have suggested that war crimes have been committed against civilians during Turkish operations. The KRG has had to walk a fine line in the weeks since the invasion. Turkey is a vital economic partner of the region, and Barzani's Kurdistan Democratic Party has close political ties with Ankara. Kurdistan Region Vice President Sheikh Jaafar Mustafa has officially apologized to the Change Movement for an attack on the party's main headquarters following the federal parliamentary elections in May 2018. The apology occurred on Tuesday during a meeting at the party's offices in Somani. A member of the Patriotic Union of Kurdistan, Jaafar Mustafa, had accompanied Kurdistan Region President Nechervan Barzani and his fellow Vice President Mustafa Said Kadir to meetings with the Change Movement and the PUK to discuss Kurdish unity in Baghdad. Shortly after the preliminary results of the May 2018 parliamentary election were announced, a force loyal to the PUK surrounded the Change Movement's headquarters in Somani and opened fire with heavy weaponry. Jaafar Mustafa was the head of the unit at the time. In August 2018, the PUK also officially apologized for the attack. Finally, the KRG Ministry of Finance spokesman Ahmad Abdulrahman said on Wednesday that the ministry owes government employees in the Kurdistan region 12 months' worth of salary payments. Speaking during NRT's Tautwe interview program, Abdulrahman said that the ministry is working to pay the salaries, but its ability to do so depends on relations with Baghdad and Turkey, as well as the continued improvement of the region's finances. He also called on Baghdad to assist the KRG in repaying its loans. The KRG instituted a number of austerity measures, including delaying salary payments and withholding a portion of the payments that it did make to employees during the financial crisis that began in 2014. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Kurdistan This Week. If you'd like more information on these stories and others, check out our website, nrttv.com/en, and be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.